Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Weather's turning out to be really nice as we enter fall. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I want to pause and acknowledge the profound weight of the moment. Today marks the 24th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, a day etched into our nation's memory. We remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost, the families forever changed, and the heroism that emerged from the ashes. It was a day that tested our nation's spirit and reminded us of the strength we find in unity, resilience, and shared purpose. We also mourn two recent tragedies that have shaken our communities and our conscience. Just yesterday, Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist, was assassinated during a campus event in Utah. This death is a sobering reminder that political violence has no place in our democracy. Regardless of ideology, every voice deserves safety and respect. We condemn this act unequivocally. In our own state, we continue to grieve the loss of Ariana Zorizinska, a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee who fled war only to be killed in a senseless, unprovoked attack aboard a Charlotte light rail train. As we reflect on these tragedies, both distant and close to home, let us recommit ourselves to the values that transcend politics and borders: empathy, justice, and the unwavering belief that every life matters. Let's carry that spirit into our meeting tonight with clarity, conviction, and care for one another. With that, I will call our meeting to order and welcome all of our visitors and guests. I will ask Councilman Hinkle if he would give us an invocation.
Mr. Mayor, if we may just have a moment in silence for Mr. Kirk and all of the others that have unfortunately been murdered in our country over the past year in reference to our abomination and attack on democracy that such actions commit. And I would like to ask that those in the room have a moment of silence before I begin the meeting prayer. If we may bow our heads just for a moment or two. Thank you very much. Along the same lines as the mayor concerning the significance of today, September the 11th, going back to 2001, most of us perhaps old enough to remember that day and where we were when we first heard the horrendous happenings in New York City and Western Pennsylvania. And along with that, I have geared prayer tonight, and that's the merciful God. Please, let's bow our hands, please. Merciful God, be with us and all the people of the world as we remember those who died on September the 11th, 2001, as a result of the dreadful and evil attacks. We pray for the blessed memory and eternal repose of the souls of the innocent victims of that barbaric attack. We remember those who unjustly lost their lives and of those who heroically fell in the line of duty. On this day of prayer and remembrance, we ask you, Almighty God, to watch over our nation and to grant us patience and resolve in all that is to come. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Please stand as we recite our pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Council, you have your agendas in front of you. Are there any changes or amendments to tonight's agenda? Staff, any changes?
Yes, sir. For our regular agenda tonight, we need to remove item 7B under recognition and presentations. And then we also need to add a closed session for economic development according to pursuant to statute 143-318.11A4. And we also need to add another closed session pursuant to statute 143-318.11A6 for personnel.
Any other amendments from staff? Okay.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Council, if you would, is there a motion to approve our agenda as presented along with the changes requested by staff?
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Now. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the approval of our consent items. These items will be approved with one motion unless requested by a council member. We've got approval of 3 sets of minutes, approval of the changes to the Town of Troutman schedule of fees, annexation request setting the hearing date for October 9th, the approval of a facade for Norman Creek amenity, and that is our consent items. Is there a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented? Thank you, Mr. Jarozinski. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Now. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is our recognitions and presentations. First, we'll turn it over to Mr. Ventresca for our Employee of the Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Our Employee of the Month is our Associate Planner, Alexa Drum. And this is a culmination of a couple months coming with some duties that she's taken on that she aren't part of her job description, so I'm very proud of her. But I do want to start by saying that Alexa's been with us about a year, and the one thing that I really enjoy about Alexa is every day she comes in, whether it's raining or sunshine, no matter what's going on in her personal life, she's always got a smile. She always treats everybody with respect. And those are qualities you don't really find in today's day and age, and I'm very happy and I'm just ecstatic that she's part of my department. But getting into some of her accomplishments, first and foremost, she was handed off the monthly newsletter that comes in your water bills, and she's picked that up and ran with it, and I think she's made some aesthetical adjustments to it to make it appealing and more attractive, so kudos for that. Second of all, Alexa picked up the ball with our website, and particularly with the planning page. I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out, but our website went live on the 28th of August. We now have interactive maps on our planning page, which is something that I've always wanted, but for one reason or another, whether it's my lack of technological skill or just time, we never were able to do. So if you haven't checked that out, I recommend doing that. And then I think the last thing I'll end on is thing that I appreciate even more than the smile is Alexa puts up with my nonsensical babble daily and has not ran out of the building screaming, and she's continuing to come back every day. So Alexa's a deserving recipient of this award this month, and I'll ask Alexa to please come up.
Congratulations, Alexa.
Congratulations, Alexa, and thank you for all you do for the town, and going above and beyond what your daily duties are. And so that's a testament to your dedication, and we really appreciate what you do for our town. So thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of our county library's fiscal year 26 through 30 strategic plan. And we've got our director of the library here, Ms. Moore.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's nice to be back. It's been a few years since I've
Yeah.
been in front of the board. There's several new faces, but I recognize a few too. In FY '25, this library staff conducted a staff-led strategic planning process to update our FY '21 through FY '25 plan. My intention back in 2020, when that plan was approved, was to come present that plan to the board, but shortly after it was approved, COVID happened and everything changed, and by the time we were back to normal meetings, it seemed kind of a moot point to bring up, because a lot of our plan ended up changing too, based on all of that. Do you do the slides, or do I?
You can take the controller if you want. It's right here. Basically, it's just the arrow forward. Okay.
So with the staff-led strategic planning process, which we're really proud of, staff led all aspects of the plan, and the work was broken into 3 subcommittees, which involved gathering data, hosting community discussions, and drafting the plan. Under community feedback, the plan was created using data collected from a community survey. We received almost 1,000 responses for our community survey. We held multiple focus groups and used the most recent census data and one-on-one conversations at service desks. So in those focus groups, we did hold a focus group that was specific just to the Troutman Library in Lake Harmony. And I remember previously when we did the plan, I believe Mr. Now attended back in 2020 when we did our plan. When we were analyzing the data was collected from the community feedback mentioned previously and was used to create a data report summarizing recurring themes, needs, and thoughts expressed by county residents. Out of this information that we collected, we were able to set goals for our strategic plan, and they were based on the needs outlined in the community data report. Some of the findings were the dissatisfaction with library advertising and communication. People felt like they were not aware of everything that was going on in the library. There was an overwhelming response to the lack of space, particularly in the Troutman Library. I believe, if I remember correctly, 95% of the respondents that utilized the Troutman Library brought up the fact of needing more space. Patrons want quality of services while also implementing new ideas. They desire an expanded collection, and this was both print and digital. For example, right now we're in the process of phasing out our CD books because cars don't have CD players and people don't have CD players. And so we're kind of transitioning all of those audiobooks to digital format. Lack of availability to physically visit the library. This is something that we're going to be able to address with our new mobile library that was just delivered in June of this year. And that they also talked about the library not being visible enough in the community, and that transportation and the lack of library services in specific areas is a prominent barrier. That's also another thing that we'll be able to address with the mobile library. One area of interest that I neglected was some of the notable accomplishments out of our FY '21 through '25 plan. That was adding a mobile library, adding 2 full-time positions. We eliminated overdue fines. We expanded our local history room, and we updated the interiors of the Statesville and Harmony branches, and we hope to do that for the Troutman branch in the future, but we were kind of waiting to see if there was going to be some potential expansion where things could be cohesive and match. So out of all of the community surveys and focus groups that we conducted, the big thing was for the Troutman Library was was the goal that falls under spaces and needs. So with our new FY26 plan, we have 5 goals. The first one being collection development, the second one being outreach and impact, the third being marketing and communications, the fourth spaces and access, and the fifth refining programs and services. You'll find more in-depth information about each of these goals and what our objectives are under those in the copy of the report that I provided for you to look at a later date. So under library, for goal 4, spaces and access, everyone will have access to inviting, interesting, and accessible spaces that foster enriching experiences and community engagement. Key objectives specific to Troutman are the expansion of the Troutman Library, adding a meeting room and additional storage and office space, accessible signage, and more engaging spaces. And as I mentioned previously, an overwhelming number of respondents expressed the need for the Troutman Library to be expanded. This need will only continue to grow as more homes are built in the Troutman community and surrounding areas. Now I want to provide just some notable statistics that you all may find interesting. So for fiscal year 2025, there were 37,167 visitors to the Troutman Library. They checked out 64,527 items. They lent 502 technology items. This could be Chromebooks or hotspots. Are launch pads part of the technology lending, so just Chromebooks and hotspot lending. There were 1,766 public internet sessions. The library was open 2,808 hours during the course of fiscal year 2025, and they were very busy, Tamara and her staff, answering 19,763 research questions. For fiscal year 2025, Troutman Library programs by the numbers. They hosted 220 programs with a total attendance of 4,964 patrons. And we also want to express appreciation to the town for providing funds each year that are utilized towards providing performers. And so 2 of those are shown here. The one to the left with the aerials that was hosted in Troutman ESC Park was a program that was funded by the town. And then the one to the far right, which was Bright Star, was that Bright Star Touring Theater? Camera.
No,
What's that one?
I believe that's the
Color Circus. That was also funded or provided by the town of Troutman with their programming money that's provided each fiscal year. So I appreciate your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have regarding the strategic plan or just Troutman in general, and also Tamara is available to answer any questions.
Great.
I do have
Any
a
questions? Okay.
Yeah, I
Ms.
do have a
Harris.
question. Can you go back to the slide where she, oh, yeah, you have it. The numbers one more, well, this one too, but, how do these numbers compare like to 2024 and 2023? Like, do you have more visitors or less visitors or?
Circulations are increased. The visitors are technically more visitors, but we had a miscalculation in how we were calculating visitors that became obvious to us when I was doing the public library survey last year. But yes, number of visitors and circulations have all increased over the previous fiscal year.
That's good.
Other questions? In terms of the technology lent, how many of those were actual hotspots?
We have one hotspot in Troutman,
Okay.
and that one is continuously going out, and we have 2 Chromebooks,
Okay.
and they're pretty much continuously going out.
And that is something that we would like to add additional Chromebooks and hotspots across the library system, because they are very popular items that people are often have holds to
Okay.
meet the needs.
The tablets don't count as technology?
The hotspots and the Chromebooks both count as technology.
What about the tablets?
I was asking about, we have something called launch pads.
Yeah, my kids love them.
Yeah. The ones that don't have internet. I don't think those are included in the technology lending, but I'd have to verify with my marketing and statistical person who created this beautiful slide for me.
The big orange ones, right?
Yeah, the big
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
So
I'm
don't need
very
internet,
familiar.
which is great when you're traveling because
yeah.
they have access to all those great games.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Absolutely good to see you again. And thank you, Tamara, as always, and the staff. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Keeping with the library theme, I have a proclamation here, Library Card Sign-Up Month. Whereas libraries are fundamental to education, imagination, and opportunity, offering everything from early literacy programs to digital tools that support lifelong learning and personal growth. Whereas libraries welcome all people, and libraries curate collections and design programs. They help individuals navigate life's challenges by providing trusted information, digital access, job search support, connections to essential services. They contribute to thriving local economies by equipping job seekers, entrepreneurs, students, and creators with tools and training to succeed. Whereas in times of both crisis and calm, libraries and their staff remain steadfast in supporting and strengthening their communities. Libraries' resources are helping households save money, reduce waste, and make sustainable choices, all through the simple power of a shared public good. Library Card opens doors to endless possibilities, from books and technology to lifelong learning and imagination. Now therefore it be resolved that I, T. Ross Young, do hereby proclaim September 2025 as Library Card Sign-Up Month in Troutman, North Carolina, and encourage all residents to sign up for a library card and explore the endless possibilities and offers. Thank you. This to you.
And Tamara has a little something for you.
Part of Library Card Sign-Up Month, we have brochures for you to welcome you to the library, should you not have a library card. And also just a little bit of the information for our digital resources that we have, which is the e-books and e-audiobooks and lots of other things that the library offers. So, would anybody like handouts?
Can I have a few of each?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Equal amount of the other one, I'll be good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Get some, yeah.
Any of you, I'll take you all.
I was just in there yesterday. Well, the other day. No, the other day.
Thank you.
I don't know what day it was. I just went to the front desk. And she was so polite.
Thank you. Yes, she does.
Thank you, and appreciate the good work that you all do. Again, providing a resource to our community that's very valuable. So, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the approval of engineering contracts for new water projects, and I'll turn it over to our interim town manager, Mr. Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as we discussed on Monday, staff recommends moving forward with the first one on your list, water capacity improvements, phase 1. At this time, we recommend approving just number 1 and tabling the others until we can have further discussions to best decide how to use our state funding for our current needs.
Council, you've heard from Mr. Monday on the water projects that we discussed on Monday. Is there a motion to approve item 1 and table 2, 3, and 4?
Make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Motion's on the floor to approve water capacity improvements under Phase 1, and we will table item 2, 3, and 4. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Received a couple of seconds. I'll ask for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of financing for property acquisition of Keystone Powdered Metal Company, 338 North Avenue. PIN is 473-198-1027, and 250 Old Murdoch Road, PIN 473-198-1888. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Mundy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is simply, as we have discussed, it is to allow us to apply for debt to the LGC for the financing of this property. And it's just to approve the resolution so that we can go in front of the LGC to get approved for the debt.
Thank you. Council, any questions for Mr. Mundy regarding this application? If not, anyone from the public like to comment on this application for financing for this property? Okay. If not, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Mundy regarding the application. We will consider approval of a resolution 3125. I would ask that you read the resolution. Is there a motion to consider the resolution?
So moved.
A motion is made to approve Resolution 3125, resolution authorizing the filing of an application for approval of a financing agreement between the town of Troutman and the North Carolina Local Government Commission for the acquisition of property. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is the rezoning request, RZ 2503, Ardor County Fairgrounds. The request to rezone 24.906 acres. The PIN is 473-271-4166, located at 157 Murdoch Road, from heavy industrial to light industrial. And I will open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Vendreska.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Background information on this, the applicant is Iredell County. The owner is also Iredell County. Now, the property is about 25 acres. As stated, the current zoning is heavy industrial. The request is to go to light industrial, and the reason for this are their tentative plans for the fairgrounds to contain basically a regional farmers market. A farmers market is not permitted in the HI district. It is permitted in the LI district. That's the basic reason for the request tonight. This is an aerial photo of the location. The location is 157 Murdoch Road. Property is outlined in red. We're all familiar with this intersection. Main Street, Old Mount Road towards South Iredell High School, Murdoch Road out towards 77, fairground property. Current zoning map, the area you see that's shaded in the green color is zoned heavy industrial. What we have here in the blue color is highway business, and then to the north we have some RS, or suburban residential. So it's mainly industrial. It's an industrial corridor with some commercial on the western side of Main Street. Land use map does call for this area to be civic, which is what you see here in the blue. The dark blue up here is mixed use. The western side of Main Street is commercial, and then the gray area you see here is industrial. What the civic land use category states is these areas may consist of government uses to include parks, libraries, government buildings, and churches. They may be located in a town center or near a residential neighborhoods they serve. Associated districts are central business and office institutional. Staff does recommend approval of this. The light industrial district, though it doesn't quite fit the civic category, it is a less intensive district than the heavy industrial district. And then it's also consistent with the zoning designations that surround the parcel. Planning board agreed and recommended approval unanimously. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions the board may have of me.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Ventresca?
Would you say this is the closest classification we have to civic?
No, not at all. Civic, you're looking at probably office institutional.
Any other questions for Mr. Ventresca? Hearing none, I will ask if there's anyone here from the public who would like to comment on this rezoning request regarding the Iredell County Fairgrounds. Okay, seeing none, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Ventresca regarding the request. We will now consider approval of ordinance 2725. I would ask that you read the full ordinance in your approval of the requested ordinance 2725.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that rezone the property as requested, light industrial, RZ 2503. I believe that is it, sir.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve RZ 2503. It's an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from heavy industrial to light industrial. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The last part of this action is to consider a statement of consistency, and I would ask that you read the full statement. Is there a statement regarding consistency?
Yes. Though the light industrial district is not in conformance with civic designation in the 2018 strategic plan, light industrial is a less intensive district than the heavy industrial district. Furthermore, the light industrial is consistent with the zoning designation in the surrounding areas.
Is there a second to the statement of consistency? Motion is made, receive a second. Any other question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is a rezoning request, RZ 2504. Peter Shannon requests to rezone 0.9 acres located at 334 South Main. The PN is 474-114-2289 from suburban residential to local commercial. I will now open this public hearing, turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
Thanks again, Mr. Mayor. Some background information on this case. Applicant is Peter Shannon. Property owner is the same. Property size is roughly an acre. The current zoning is suburban residential, or RS. The request is to rezone this property to our local commercial district, the LC district. This is a new district that we had adopted approximately 6 months ago. There is no site plan, as this is submitted as a straight rezoning request. So you must consider all uses in the LC district with this request. And I did leave a copy of the use table on your on the dais for you to look at in case you want to reference that. This property is in the town limit. The intent for the local commercial district is small scale, usually an acre or less. It's a less intense commercial and service use district. It's meant to serve the local area, allows for live-work opportunities. What that means is you can live on the property and run a small business at the same time. It's located on major thoroughfares or at crossroads, not suitable for residential development. And more intensive uses, and I got intensive in quotations because if you look at your use table, there aren't really any real intense uses. But anything that's a little more intensive than your standard would be required to be conditionally zoned, meaning if they were to request something that's CZ in your use table, they would have to come back for a site plan, and it'd be a whole different rezoning case, and you'd look at that differently. Location, property is located on South Main Street. Troutman Elementary School is just up to the northwest. If you keep going to the south, you'll hit Autumn Leaf Road. Current zoning map, the purple is our suburban residential area, which the property is zoned. Some properties to the back are zoned suburban residential as well. Property is adjacent to two office institutionally zoned districts, which is this beige color. The blue color across the street you see are highway business zone properties. And then the properties you see here in green are heavy industrial. And the properties over here to the west in this yellowish color, that's our town residential district, basically quarter-acre single-family lots. Land use plan calls for this to be office institutions, and it's pretty much the whole area you see there on Main Street. Proposed land use, the office institutions. It says these areas may consist of individual parcels with office, financial, and medical uses. Access to minor arterials and off-street or shared parking are desirable, is vegetated and topographically screened from nearby low-density residential uses. And the associated district is office institutional. I do also want to mention that with our local commercial district, it was not around at the time that we had our land use plan designations, so it wasn't considered when we did adopt these definitions. The recommendation for this is approval. It is a newly established district that was not in existence in 2022 when we adopted the map. We recommend approval of this because it's approximately an acre in size. It's located on a major thoroughfare, and it is in close proximity to office, institutional, and highway business zoning districts. Planning board did recommend approval as well. So that completes my presentation. I'll open it up for any questions you may have of me.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca? None. Anyone here from the public like to comment on this rezoning request? Please state your name.
My name is Henry Martinet.
Sign in at the podium if you have it.
And my name's Henry Martinet, and I've owned the house next door for over 30 years now. I have been out of town. I've been taking care of my mom in Winston. She just passed away for the past 3 or 4 years. And my wife has worked for a Fortune 500 company, and she's getting ready to retire. And I want to tell y'all that I've been in and out of Troutman for the past, I was here on 9/11 in Troutman watching that. But anyway, you made a wonderful town out of this place. I can't say that how great it is now. I've seen it grow and everything. It's really great. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the house at 324 South Main. In about 10 years, it'll be 100 years old, and it's one of the most historic properties in Troutman. And my wife and I are thinking about trying to get it zoned historic. And I would like you to take that into account when you make a recommendation. Like I said, I've been paying taxes religiously for, over 30 years now. And I've been trying to keep that place up. But I've had to be in Charlotte, and I've had to be in Winston. But we're trying to, pay attention more to it. And the other question I had for you is in that purple, could you bring that map up again with the half of the property on 324 looks like it's zoned residential, and the other half looks like it's office. And I don't really mind it being zoned office, but I'm worried about the traffic impact and the noise level and everything if somebody wanted to live there. And that's about it. Thank you for, listening to me.
Thank you.
I'll just clarify that this color here in the yellow, where this property split zoned, that's RT. They're both residential districts. It's just the density is a little different, so it's not an office district.
Okay. Anyone else like to comment on this request?
Hi, I'm Hannah Cruz. My husband and I recently purchased property at 149 Pinewood Street, so we're like kind of that funny L shape there in the back. But we purchased the property because we loved the privacy, the residential, small town nature, and we really like Troutman. We're from Charlotte prior to this, and so we like the pace of Troutman much more. And so we just wanted to voice and kind of ask the question about if the rezoning would affect the privacy there in the back and the adjacent lot. Would this mean like increased foot traffic, just more people kind of in and around the property, since there's not currently a barrier between us and the property to be rezoned. And then, just thinking of like the integrity of the property lines as well. We want to make sure that we can work together to make sure those are maintained. Last weekend, I know there were some hired landscapers on the property, and my husband saw them, noticed that they were throwing some debris in our yard, and he just pointed it out to them, and it was all good. But just making sure that we can be assured that that property line will have, like the buffer that is recommended for this zone, the local commercial zone, and also just, property value impact. Again, the nature of that area is really nice, private. We love it right now. And also with the lack of like the site plan. We just want to understand a little more, if possible, what that will look like and how it could impact the adjacent properties around.
Andrew, you want to comment at all on?
I'll start with the buffer question. So as the property sits now, residential to residential, there's no buffer required. If this property is eventually used for commercial purposes, the local commercial district requires a 25-foot landscape buffer if it is adjoining to any adjacent residential properties. So you have a 25-foot landscape buffer. Now, as far as the site plan, this is a straight rezoning. There is no site plan involved. Again, we consider the uses in the use table. We won't know that until we receive a site plan. So that will be however the applicant decides to develop the project. If they hire an engineer to develop the site plan, that's something we won't know until that time.
Okay. Thank you.
So Andrew, that would basically be almost 80% of their property line then?
Yeah, they'd be looking at both sides, and then, well, technically, where you see the purple.
Just the one little stretch right there.
Yeah, the purple and then the yellow over here. So it'd be on the northwestern side. I'll call that the southwestern side, and then a little bit along the eastern line.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Not, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Ventresca as well as the public regarding this request. We will now consider ordinance 2825. Is there a motion regarding this ordinance?
I make a motion that we approve the rezoning of RZ 2504 to local commercial.
Okay. Motion's on the floor to approve the rezoning to commercial. It's approval of ordinance 2825, changing the classification of the property from suburban residential to local commercial. Is there a second? Motion is made, received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Is there a statement of consistency? Please read the full statement.
I would just like to make a mention. I believe that property owner that we rezoned is here, and that they would consider their neighbor's request for relationship and future development just to keep the peace in the community.
Okay.
Yes, we absolutely would.
Thank you.
Is there a statement of consistency?
I'll read that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Action describing consistency. Through the local commercial district is not addressed in the future land use map. The request is reasonable and in the public interest as it is consistent with the zoning destination in the local area and allows many uses that would be considered office and institutional.
Is there a second to the statement of consistency?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. For those who presented to us tonight, appreciate your feedback. Definitely well taken. Appreciate the requester of this rezoning, and appreciate your support for ensuring that we have a good community, neighbors and partners. So thank you for that. The next item on the agenda is to consider appointment to the Board of Adjustment inside alternate. I will turn it over to Mr. Van Tresca.
Thank you. The first appointment tonight is an alternate to the Board of Adjustment, which is inside the town limit. It is Antonio Robinson. He had introduced himself to the board at Monday's agenda briefing. And we're always looking for members to our advisory boards, particularly Board of Adjustment. We seem to have a hard time attracting any kind of talent. So,
Offended.
well, you were the talent, but you left. But anyhow, I think staff would recommend the appointment of Mr. Robinson.
Okay. Council, you met Mr. Robinson on Monday. This is to fill the appointment of a inside alternate to expire 1/8/25, or expired 1/8/25. Is there a motion regarding this appointment?
Make a motion that we appoint Antonio Robinson to inside alternate member of the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is to consider Planning and Zoning Board inside voting member, expiring 5/14/27. I'll turn it over to Mr. Van Tresca.
Okay, and again, we met Miss Babella on Monday at the agenda briefing, and she introduced herself to council. A longtime resident, seemed to have some good ideas and just a good personality. So with that, I think staff would also recommend appointing Miss Babella.
Council, you've heard from Mr. Van Tresca regarding this inside voting member to the Planning and Zoning Board. Is there a motion regarding this appointment?
Mayor, I'll make that motion to appoint Planning and Zoning Board inside voting member, Jane Babella, term expiring May the 14th, night of 2027.
Motion is made to approve the appointment. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is the reappointment of Sally Williams to the Design Review Board as an inside voting member for an additional 3-year term expiring 9/8/25. Is there a motion, turn it over to Mr. Van Tresca before that.
Ms. Williams has completed her first term with the Design Review Board, and for the last 2 years, she's been the chair of the board. She runs a good meeting. I think you all know Ms. Williams pretty well. So again, we'd recommend appointing Ms. Williams back to the board, the reappointment.
Thank you.
Was she here Monday too?
She was not here Monday.
Think she figured we had met her once or twice. Council, you've heard from Mr. Van Tresca regarding this reappointment. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor, of the reappointment of Sally Williams to the Design Review Board as an inside voting member for an additional 3-year term, expiring 9/8/27.
20. It is already expired, but yeah, it's a 3-year term.
28.
Yeah, 28, yeah. Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is to consider approval of the Shin Farms Regional Pump Station Reimbursement Agreement. Mr. Mundy?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, we approved the letter of intent with Shin Farms for the Regional Pump Station Reimbursement Agreement last month. So this is just to finalize the contract so that Shin Farms can continue working on the regional pump station, and then we will start reimbursing for that project.
Council, you've heard from Mr. Mundy regarding this agreement. As we've discussed, is there a motion regarding this reimbursement agreement?
Make a motion that we approve the reimbursement agreement as presented.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made. Receive the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comments. You're welcome to make comments to the town council. Please direct those to town council and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Anyone here from the public like to make comments to the town council? Please state your name and sign in.
I've already signed in. My name is Debbie Page. I just want to invite everyone to the Iredell Walk for Recovery on September 27th from 4 to 7 p.m. at South Iredell High School Performing Arts Center. We're going to be inside in the air conditioning, so we're excited about that. The Troutman Fire Department's going to bring a touch a truck, and we're hoping police officers will bring their car over for kids to look at and everything, and we'll have ambulances and stuff, and we've got lots of vendors, magicians, balloon animal guys, face painting, all kinds of really great family fun for the DJ, all kinds of family fun for the whole community, free food, free drinks, all that, so non-alcoholic, of course. Also, the Troutman Rotary Club is having a free spaghetti dinner on October 3rd from 5:30 to 7:30 at Troutman Fire and Rescue. We are requesting donations if you feel so led, because these will go to Troutman Elementary School students to help pay for technology fees, and also to give teachers some money to give kids who don't always have the chance to purchase ice cream kind of a treat every once in a while, so give them a little fun to do that. So we hope that you will come support Troutman Rutan's Spaghetti Dinner and the Iredell Walk for Recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. I'm Peter Chanone. I, along with my wife, we own Aurora Art and Garden Center. And the past 2 years have been a wonderful journey, and we could have done it without the trust and incredible support of the community. When we envisioned our art gallery and garden center, we hoped it would root vibrantly into a place for creativity and the community to blossom. Thanks to you, it has become so much more. We've loved seeing families explore the gardens, artists share their passions, and so many connect over shared interests. Your patronage and encouragement mean the world to us, and we are so proud to be part of this growing town of Troutman. We also are involved with adding beauty to the South Iredell High School and the new senior center. I need to also thank not just the community, but my wife and daughter for all the sweat and hard work that they have also enjoyed putting into what we've been able to come up with. We look forward to many years growing alongside all of you, and we thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, great, thank you. We will now move to our next items, which is comments from our elected officials. I will start to my left. Mr. Jarozinski.
I'd like to thank the community that came out to speak today. I'm always encouraged when members of our community come and speak to us and share their opinions and thoughts. It's important in helping us make good, rounded decisions. I'd also like to thank the Shannone family and other business owners that come into our community and help build their businesses, their brand, and improve the quality of life here. The Aurora Gardens are amazing to visit. Anybody that hasn't been there, I highly recommend touring and seeing what they have going on behind the fences. I'm pretty confident that they will do a good job in developing this second property with beautiful landscape along the property edges and everything else. And also like to thank, last month, I put a call out to fill some of the boards. We had 2 new appointees this month. I believe we still have vacancies though, so anybody that's looking to get more involved in the community or in the town in the direction of the decisions, highly recommend applying for our boards and getting those positions filled, as we will have more boards coming in the near future for other reviews and just boards that we need as our towns grow to get more community input.
Ms. Harris?
I wanted to say thank you to Paul for that wonderful prayer on earlier, and acknowledging the 911 incident. I remember exactly where I was during that event. I had just started a job like a year before, and we were in the basement starting up a new system. I work in technology, and I will never forget those moments. I think we will never forget those moments, and unfortunately, we have other incidents that are happening in our lives that we won't forget those incidents either. I'm such a mushy person. I just wish everybody would just love each other, you know? And I just hope that we all just, can we all just get along? You know, and just appreciate each other, you know, as human beings. Let's all try to be better human beings. If we can't make somebody else be a better human being, let's try to be a better human being ourselves. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have to say.
Well, you're rubbing off on me, so you're doing God's work.
Mr. Now?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know, Mr. Mayor, you've touched a little bit about 9/11, but if I could just have a couple minutes. 24 years ago today, I, as a member of the NYPD, responded to the tragedy at the World Trade Center. I'd like to acknowledge the brave men and women that responded that day in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the Pentagon, and the Trade Center. Also remember the victims and their families that were lost that day, as well as the ones that continue to be victims. I've been given a second chance that day, and we should learn from 9/11 and appreciate your blessings and don't take anything or anyone for granted. Live every day and try to bring happiness to others.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Mr. Hinkle?
Very little left to say. My colleagues have covered it very well, and I say kudos. And I'll reiterate, our advisory boards do need volunteers, so please step up. And also thank you to those who showed interest in their community by coming out tonight, whether they had an issue to discuss or just want to be a part of the process and see what we do here. And thank you for that. Looking forward to the upcoming events, the fall events, several you've heard tonight mentioned. And you know, please, I hope the community just comes out to support, especially our local nonprofit organizations, and you know, that there's something that we didn't used to have, and we complained about not having those, as we saw Mooresville and Statesville having them. Now that we've got them, I hope the community steps up. You know, the Rotary clubs, the Exchange Club, and all the others and so forth that Ms. Page mentioned and so forth. And we support these, I hope, wholeheartedly, because they're doing good. They're doing good, and they're helping the town. They're partnering with the town, doing good. And I certainly don't want to leave out the library. God bless you, ladies, for the library and what you do, and the staff and so forth. It's tremendous. I'll admit my wife gets there a lot more than I do. It's obvious. You see her a lot more. But believe me, you are appreciated very much. You're appreciated. And thank you very much. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, sir.
Mr. Auction?
I'm just happy to be here, Mayor.
Thank you.
That's all.
I'll start in reverse. Mr. Auction, we miss you. Appreciate you coming in tonight, probably not totally up to speed, but you've stayed at least for 98% of the meeting. So you've done great. So thank you for that. And again, hopefully you'll continue your path to recovery. Mr. Now, I appreciate you sharing your comments, but I think we owe you a debt of gratitude for what you did on 9/11 and all of your fellow first responders on that day. It's important as we see today, like you and many others, it's important to have folks who are willing to run toward the tragedy rather than away from it. And so again, I'd like to give you a hand and a thanks of appreciation.
Thank you.
Lastly, again, I appreciate all the comments from the council members regarding boards. We've continued to make the requests for folks to get involved in their community, and we appreciate all those who, put their name in the hat to join our boards. We have had times where they've been, filled, and other times it's really difficult to get folks to respond. But again, we appreciate those who do and those who have the opportunity to serve the town. So again, we appreciate that. I would say that the pay is not always great. I mean, we try to increase it as much as we can.
Doubles every year, right?
It doubles like every year, right? So again, we appreciate volunteers for participating with the town. Thank all of our staff again for continuing to fill in the gaps in what they do. Again, we realize it's not always easy and taxing, and Mr. Mundy and the team have really stepped up, and we really appreciate what you're doing to keep our town not just beautiful but safe. We know our officers are here and continue to help out. I saw the Troutman fire getting a little exercise in the park today. I started to go out and throw some hoops with them, but I had my bow tie on, so I'll catch them another time. But again, it's good to see folks in the park. Lots of kids enjoying the park. It's wonderful to see them there. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Mundy for staff reports and comments.
I'll say one thing before we pass it, bringing that up about the park. This morning, I have a neighbor that lives, and she lives just a little bit there, got a good view of the park. And I was, she's elderly and has just had surgery, and I was helping her out. Anyhow, I was at her house, which has a great view overlooking the park from where my neighborhood is. And I had really never noticed that before. And maybe it's because they had some trees that the storm we had here several months ago came down and that cleared out that view. But, and this was like 10 o'clock in the morning, so obviously there was not that much activity yet. But it was beautiful. And I just thought, this night, and I just stood there for about 5 minutes before I moved on. But it really filled me with pride. I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. I think tonight every field was packed. So there was activity on, I think, every field. So good to see. Mr. Mundy?
Yes, sir. I'm going to let Andrew lead us off here.
Yeah, I just wanted to give an update that if you remember during the retreat back in March that I had mentioned that our 2018 strategic plan was outdated and asked for money in the budget for a new land use plan. And I wanted to update that we have an RFQ out, a request for qualifications, as we speak. It closes next Friday at the end of business. So I've talked to some consultant firms, so I'm expecting to get a good number of applicants in. And so hopefully October we'll spend time reviewing that as staff, and then if all goes well, November we'll be in front of you to ask you to select a consultant we recommend, and then if things go as planned, we'll start the process in January.
Great. Thank you for that update.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Just a few comments. I appreciate all the people being here tonight. It is good to always see citizens out and hearing their comments and concerns. I'll probably sound like a broken record, but the staff continues to do a great job. The department heads have everybody in line and working hard. That's not to say we don't make any mistakes, because nobody's perfect. But we do try our best, and everybody cares about their job and does the best to their ability. And we just ask, if you do see somebody making a mistake, just come to us in kindness and speak your mind in a nice, courteous way, and we will respond appropriately. And thank you to Mr. Now for your comments about 9/11. It's hard to believe it's been 24 years. Time just seems to fly by, but we shouldn't ever forget. I wasn't been in the 6th grade, but I was old enough to know, how big of a deal it was. And, the only silver lining that came from 9/11 was how the country came together after it happened. And I sure do wish, like Ms. Harris said, I sure do wish we could get back to that and disagree civilly and have a nice civil conversation with one another, and instead of resorting to violence. And I'd like to also remember the Kirk family for that tragic event that happened yesterday. Again, whether you agreed with what he said or not, that has no place in this country. And I'll get off my soapbox for now, but thank you again to everybody, and thank you, council, and thank you to the staff for doing a great job.
Thank you, Justin. Your comments were well taken until you mentioned 6th grade.
I feel so much younger now.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too, Mr. Hinkle.
I wanted to ask if you were still in grade school.
Yeah.
That's enough out of you.
Next item is to hold a closed session to discuss consulting with an attorney to discuss acquisition of property, a personnel matter, and economic development. That's 318-11A3, 318-11A5, 318-11A6, and 318-11A4. Counselor, is there a motion to go into closed session?
Are there any that we missed?
Almost. I think I probably.
Make that motion to go into closed session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
In opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Who do we need?
Jen,
Jerry, you
Say her
leaving your
first
jelly
and
beans?
Okay.
town clerk and attorney.
You're not gonna
Okay,
leave them
thank
with
you.
us? We gotta stay.
I'm gonna try to stay. I just gotta get up.